morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. It is not raining, it's not very sunny, but it's supposed to get a little more sunny later, I think. We don't have rain for a few days, which will be good for the yard. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. Oh, I got a little piece of yarn showing through here. Look what I'm wearing. Look what I'm wearing. I finished my hat last night. I hope you can see it, because I can't take it off, because this hat I think is going to be extremely warm, but serious hat hair. Right, puppy? I put it on last night. Serious hat hair, so I can't take it off. So I finished it. I just pulled it tight. I don't know if you can see the back of it. I'll have to go get another hat if I take this off. But I don't think oh, hold on. Let me get another hat. Okay, this is my other Advent hat that I made quite a few years ago. So my top is quite wavy. Once I started decreasing, I'm not sure about it. Now, it's possible if I could block some of this would block out. I found it very difficult to do the welts once I got really tiny, so I just have a little swirl in the middle. But I don't think I'm planning on blocking it, because when I wear it, I can't see that. It's still a little wrinkly on my head. You might have been able to tell when I tried to lean over. But, so anyway, here is my Advent hat. And it's, shoot. The Something of Minis. Oh, hold on. Full of Minis hat by Barbara Nalevko, Knitting I Love. Thank you again, Verena. It was fun to knit up until I got to the end, and then I found that hard to do the smaller ones. I really did. And, you know, I was losing my oomph, too. But it turned out really cute. The problem is, it's a one-size pattern, and I don't really have anything good to block hats on. I have a styrofoam head, but it's smaller than my head, so it doesn't work. Although I might take a look at it and see if I could block this on that and maybe do something with these wiggly welts. I might do that. Because it is styrofoam, so I could pin it, you know, if I'm just trying to deal with the wiggly welts. Anyway, it's tight on my head. It's going to be super warm. It's designed to have a pom-pom here, which would disguise some of my problems at the top, except that I don't really like a pom-pom. It makes it hard for me to put my hood up when I need it. So anyway, my hat turned out really cute. I'm very happy with it. I'm not so unhappy with the back. Like I said, I can see it when I wear it. So I'm not going to worry about it too much, but you can see it's really once I started, and I'm quite sure had I actually followed the pattern, it would be much better. Verena's doesn't look like this. Let me put it that way. Verena's looks beautiful. Mine looks like my own version. It looks like my own version, but I love the colors. I think I did really well in keeping it real with my Advents and enjoying the colors. And yeah, it was a good project for my Advent, and I thank you, Verena, for the suggestion. She gave me a second pattern that reads like this hat, but is actually mosaic, which I really like mosaic knitting, so maybe I'll try that one next if I have another hat that I want to make out of minis. Hold on, I'm going to put this back on. Now I'm toasty warm. Here we go. Whew. Anyway, good morning. I finished my hat. I will work on my leggings and my fingerless mitts for Dennis. But I will say that my arm hurt last night. So I'm very convinced that the knitting is why I had such a bad arm for so long. And my not knitting for a long time had meant that it felt much better. But, you know, this much knitting in a month and a half, 2 months. And some other knitting, but not a lot. Well, my leggings are like this tall. Anyway, has aggravated my bad arm, and that's disappointing, I have to say. It was a long time I wasn't doing much knitting. You'd think it would have done a lot better. I mean, it really means you have to really stop what you're doing if you're going to fix it. Anyway, I've been having these ideas that I want to start painting again. I've been really drawn to my painting Instagram people and watching some things and, you know, really kind of thinking about it. And so I might just pull the trigger and be brave and try to start painting again and sketching and ink and wash. I might do that. And I don't think that hurts my arm, so that would be a good thing. It would be good for my soul and won't aggravate my arm. So Dennis is getting ready to make himself a cup of coffee, so I'm going to pause this so he can be noisy and make his coffee, and then I'll tell you an update on the dog situation. Okay, coffee's made. He made me a cappuccino too. He's the best. He really is the best. And Pearl with her stick agrees. All right, so the saga of the dogs. As you recall, a few days ago in our dog situation, 10:30 at night, Pearl is fussing at the front door, and I go to see why, and there's gosh, we were just talking about our dogs. And there was Maisie out on the front porch. Like, how the heck did she get on the front porch? She got locked out of the back porch, and so she came around. Very disturbing to me. The next day, they nose their way out of the door between the garage and the mudroom and take off like bats out of hell and almost get run over. So that's the old story. So on Tuesday, while I was visiting my parents, I was gone all day, and I started getting these texts. Well, turns out that Maisie got out again, and Dennis found her by the front door and brought her in, and and later she was out again, and he opened up the front door and called her from the neighbors, not across the street, down side neighbor, luckily, and she came. So he went out and saw that the gate in the back of the yard, which is by the woods, had a gaping hole. You know, our fence is so rickety and falling down. It has to be replaced, and I really do think if we can swing it, that may be our big project of the year on the house, because that fence is just a wreck from top to bottom, the whole thing. But anyway, the back gate, which we hardly use because we don't really go back in those woods, is in disrepair and sort of angly, and anyway, there was room for Maisie to get out. So Dennis went out to fix it, do what he can to fix it, to close that gap in the meanwhile, and both the dogs got out. So he's running through the woods around the fence. Pearl is taken off over to next door. Anyway. But meanwhile, apparently Maze has been going in and out like it's a little door, like a little dog door, into the back, and she discovered the coolest, most interesting smelling thing ever and brought it and put it on the deck. So it became clear that she was getting out and coming back in. Now, this is a skull of something, and we're not sure exactly what it is. Probably a possum, but not really sure. It's a little bit gross, so I'm giving you fair warning. I'm going to show some gross pictures, and when I'm done showing them, I will tell you if you want to close your eyes. They're not terrible, horrible, but, just, fair warning. So here's the skull, top and bottom, that Dennis found on our deck. And, you can see that there's gray fur. We're not sure. He thought maybe a possum, but the nose, whatever. Anyway, that's what was on our deck. Okay, I'm not showing it anymore. You can come back. So, apparently, Maisie's been going in and out just like it's a dog door. And she went out and came back in with her treat, with her prize, and going back out. And anyway... So Dennis went out, and really did a much better job because the first little try he tried the night before hadn't really done the trick. So yesterday, no dogs ended up on the front porch. So we think what he's done up to now is enough. In fact, I saw Maisie wandering out back there, and I told him she's headed back to the gate, but I can't see her from where I'm sitting because the shed is in the way. So he went and looked and said, oh yeah, she's sniffing around that gate. She really, she really liked her little secret exit for the yard. Luckily, one of the nice characteristics about female dogs is they're territorial, and they don't necessarily like to wander. So even though she's been going in and out the backyard, she still hasn't done anything dangerous. I mean, the only reason they were headed across the street was because of Pearl. And Pearl apparently didn't find that door, even though Maisie found it. That little door. Maybe Pearl is a little bit bigger than Maze, but my guess is she just wasn't paying attention and didn't know it was there. Until Dennis, he was repairing it, and I don't know if the gate was open at that point or whatever, and they both went out. But that's the only time Pearl got out of that and made her escape along with Maisie at the same time, while Dennis was standing right there. So anyway, that is the final so far development in the dog situation. So hopefully Maisie doesn't learn that. She's strong enough to push that repair open, and if she wanted to, she could still get out, but she would have to know to push. And I mean, she does like lift her paw and bang at things, but I don't think she would do that. I don't know. Why do I say that? I have no idea. Luckily, we're both really glad that it was a hole in the gate fence situation, and not that she figured out she could jump that fence. Because if she had figured out she could jump that fence, there's nothing we could do. And so we would have to replace that fence immediately, and it would have to be a taller fence. Right now, it's about a 4-foot fence, 4.5-foot fence.
Yeah, it's about chest high.
About chest high. We would have to put up an 8-foot fence, yeah. It would have to be a very tall fence to keep the dogs in. If they got the idea they could jump it. And the reality is they could jump it. They just don't know it. So, I don't know, sweetie. I haven't seen her come back from that fence. She's still back there.
She came up to me on the deck.
Okay, good. I was afraid she's a smart girl. Anyway, so that's the saga of the dogs, and undoubtedly this summer at some point you will hear the saga of where we're replacing our fence, and so the dogs can't go out. And what are we going to do? That'll be a different saga. But right now they're in and safe in the yard and safe, so we don't have to worry about them, and we'll keep our eye out. But we are very glad she didn't jump the fence, so that's good. Anyway, that's it for me today. I finished my hat, guys. I finished my hat. And when it's on, I mean, you can tell that the welts are different there than there. But I don't think anybody looking at me wearing my hat in the park is going to say, oh, look at that silly hat. She did a terrible job. And it looks great to me from the front. Oh, there's Maisie. She's right on the deck. So there you go. There you go. So this was my Advent project. And my next semi-Advent project is my leggings. And if I keep going, I might get them finished by the time we get another really, really cold snap, which is when I need them. And that would be fun to wear them. But meanwhile, I am thinking about drawing and painting and trying to do that. I feel like what I was doing a couple years ago, and it's been a couple years, I was getting better. And I'm quite sure that I've regressed back to where my starting point from before. But I know I can get better. So that's fun. And, you know, and I'm not sure where I want to go with my painting. But I want to think about what subject matter I want to do. I like doing the flowers. I like doing cards. But the one thing that I really wasn't doing very much of before was painting from my imagination. I was getting inspiration pictures. Some of you sent me inspiration pictures. So I was recreating these inspiration pictures in my watercolors and my ink and wash. But I did very, very few things just from my imagination. And I think I want to explore that a little bit. That's a way to, you know, sort of a direction to go to try to think of something that, you know, a landscape that I've never seen or that I saw years ago and in my mind, you know, how has that evolved, but not do it from a picture, you know. So that's semi-imagination and semi, you know, real. But anyway, I'm thinking about how I can do some art. That would be fun. That would be, you know, good for me. That would make me feel good and I would enjoy. And it wouldn't hurt my arm. So there's that too. So meanwhile, that's what I'm thinking about. But I will be working on my leggings. My leg warmers that I'm working on. And yeah, and I'm gonna go. Today, I think we might take a ride. I'm thinking not. Aura's got a shower today, and I have to make fluff, and I wanted to get some crackers started. So I don't know if there's really time to go shopping. The store we are looking to go to is about a half an hour away, so we'll see. Or Dennis could go by himself. He doesn't really need me. It's just a nice ride in Lancaster County, which is beautiful. But if tomorrow's going to be sunny, it'll be a better day for a beautiful ride. So we'll see. And I didn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep till like 6:30 this morning. So I'm not feeling very energetic, and I feel like I have a lot of things I have to do. I just listed them all. They'll take a half an hour. Not even each. Well, 45 minutes altogether. So, you know, don't feel sorry for me being so busy, because that's, you know, silly. Meanwhile, I'm going to go. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.